Hey guys, so I wanted to take the time out and share a little time lapse video with you guys. I haven't posted in a while because I've been busy creating two books actually, and I've got two projects in development, two personal projects in development that I'll be sharing videos and paintings of extremely soon, and they're both extremely fun projects, but I haven't had the chance or the time to actually build something on YouTube in the meantime. So I just wanted to get back to it a little bit and just share a little time lapse video I had of a commission I recently painted of a grown up Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse, except he's kind of mixed with the ps5 version of Miles. So I basically had to draw a picture of my client's friend as Miles, and he wanted him to look all beaten, damaged, and like he's in the middle of a battle and everything. So I was like, all right, fair enough, I can get that done. So uh, what I basically wanted to do with this painting at this specific point in time was to create something that's kind of animated looking, but also the semi-realistic paintings that I usually make. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to create something that had a very airbrushed poster-like look to it, but also something that can perhaps exist in a 2D or let's say a 3D animated movie as well, with a bit of 2D overlapped on top of that. So that's what I basically want to create. What I have at the painting at this stage is basically just crafting what the background would look like and everything. It started with something that would have been pretty apt looking in daylight, since the picture I got of the friend was a picture of him in daylight. But then I said, all right, fair enough, I want to try something different. So I brought in a stock picture that I had that I recently acquired, and I put that in. And one thing that I wanted to share with you guys as far as my process is concerned is the use of color balance. Uh, Ross Draws is one of my all-time favorite art YouTube channels, and the guy basically uses color dodge, and that is something that is prevalent in all his work, right? I got down to thinking, what is the one thing that makes my work look the way it does? And I realized the use of color balance is massive, massive. The amount of times I've used color balance in my paintings is absolutely crazy, because the entire look of the painting changes with the colors you can get using the color balance feature. So what I usually do is take my shadow sliders all the way down to the blues if the main lights in the painting are going to be yellow, and I do the exact opposite when, for example, let's say the lights are blue. I take the shadow sliders down to somewhere between red and yellow, because that is the basic concept of complementary colors as well. For example, shadows in real life will never be fully black. Shadows change colors based on the lighting that affects the subject that is casting the shadow. So, for example, if I shine a blue light on an object, it's going to create yellow shadows. Or if I craft a subject and I shine a yellow light on it, it's going to cast blue shadows. So that is essentially what I was trying to do with this painting as well. I wanted his suit to have this really lovely yellow, orangish, mintish red uh, sheen to it, but I also wanted there to be complementary blue slash mintish green shadows that would really like bring the painting out and everything and just make it pop a little bit more, which is what I specifically wanted to accomplish with this painting as well. I wanted it to look like something that can be used as a poster, but also look like something that's, number one, a panel from a comic book, number two, perhaps a scene from, like I said, a 2D or a 3D animated movie. I went about designing the suit in a very similar manner because I wanted to get something that was similar to the animated suit that Miles wore in the movie, and the suit that he's going to be wearing in the upcoming PS5 game. And that perhaps was the most fun part because the suit that Miles has in the game is extremely advanced looking. It looks less like something that would be spray painted, more like something that would be custom built specifically for him using all sorts of tech and everything. So that's what I specifically liked about that suit, and that's where my personal taste lies as well. I love the way techie suits look. I'm not the biggest Iron Man fan, and I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things because of that. I've gotten a few looks because of that, but the Iron Man suit is probably the only armor slash tech based suit that I'm not the biggest fan of, specifically because of how jumbled and busy it is, even though it's one of the sleekest suits that I've ever seen a superhero don. But the entire concept of just plain armor is not really all that appealing to me. On the other hand, a suit that has cloth based material as well as armor on it, that is the kind of stuff I absolutely get drawn towards. The Batman suits, 90% of the Batman suits that we've seen until now have had a mixture of cloth, some kind of tactical material, and armor. And the Batman suits have particularly been really aesthetically pleasing. The only Batman suit that I'm not the biggest fan of, actually, the only two suits that I'm not the biggest fan of, the Batman and Robin suits, and the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises Batsuit. Yeah, that I've heard apparently is an unpopular opinion, but I loved the Batman Begins suit. That looked scary, right? So that's what I specifically wanted. Like that's kind of the aesthetic I wanted for this Miles painting as well. I wanted it to have that really sleek armor slash cloth based look. So it doesn't look like something a teenager would specifically make, but it looks like something a superhero would wear, who's perhaps a little bit seasoned, who has a few contacts in places where he can get a suit like this. So it doesn't specifically look like something a teenager like Miles would have built, but it also, what I specifically wanted with this was to create something that still speaks to that teenage version of Miles. So I went ahead and I added these lines all over the suit to give that really sleek armor tech based look. I kept the material in place. I created all the creases and everything to make sure it looks cloth like. And then what I did at the very end, which we haven't reached that stage yet, I created the spiderverse logo on this suit. So it's almost like every suit, what I had in mind for an adult version of that Miles, the one from the movie, is that no matter what suit he gets, the spider symbol is always going to be spray painted on. So that's something that I really want to see, and that's just like a small headcanon I have in place. But I really want to see that specifically. So now then I went ahead and I started designing the shoes and everything. The painting is almost done at this point. I started designing the shoes, and the Air Jordans that Miles wore in the movies, in the movie, sorry, my bad. And the guy who asked me to specifically make this painting as well said that he wanted these exact shoes in the painting. And I was like, alright, fair enough, I can get that done. So I did. And then this part is obviously the most fun. I love drawing the webs on the Spider-Man suit. I've heard people tell me that they have a hard time finishing the webs and everything. I personally enjoy them because I have the entire pattern memorized. So I can just draw his entire web pattern all on its own without any reference. So I like that, I mean, I'm a pretty huge fan of the way Miles' Spider-Man suit looks. So yeah, and then as I said, the spider's here, and then I warp it around and I put it on his body, and we add a little bit of rim light to give it that really intense look. Now what I'm doing at the moment is color dodging a little bit, which I took from Ross Draws, as I said earlier, and just figuring out the way I wanted his webs to look. What I had in mind earlier, like at this stage, was to create almost like a net. But then I was like, all right, let me try something different. So I started like foreshortening the webs and making it almost look like it's like flinging into his hand, and that's what I had going on here. But then I was like, all right, fair enough. I want to try something different with his Venom Blast as well, because like the background predominantly in this painting is yellow, right? I wanted him to have that really icy blue Venom Blast, and I wanted it to look like it's like he's almost conducting the electricity through his webs. So that's what I went with, and I created an orange version of it as well in the middle to see what that looks like, because I mean the new game has him shooting out and zapping around with yellow electricity, yellow/orange electricity, but then it blended a little too much with the background. So I was like, all right, fair enough. Let's figure out the blue, and then I got the blue in, and then I color graded the whole thing. Again, I use color balance. Allowing color balance to exist in your paintings is probably the best advice I can give anybody when it comes to doing any of this. Color balance will help. It will make your paintings look more concise and harmonious. So I think that is something that needs to be taken into account. So I'm almost done. A little bit of color dodge here and there, and we are almost done with the painting. What I finish off doing is liquefying the areas that I want to liquefy, and like what I usually do is I flip the painting horizontally every once in a while to see what it looks like, and then we're done. We're mostly done. So yeah, and then at the very end I just have a few little snippets I add, a little bit of flares going up and everything, and we're done. I think we are done. I hope you guys have enjoyed and perhaps gotten a little insight into the way I work, and I hope you guys will stick around for a little longer, because I really want to introduce all of you to the worlds I've been creating, the stories I've been writing, and I've got some exciting projects in work, and I will be sharing more videos based on that as well extremely soon. So stay on the lookout for that. And if you guys loved or liked or heck even got pleased by any of the work that I've done, please like, comment if you want to see something different or something specifically catered towards what you want to see. And if I have enough of those, I will probably end up making a video on that as well. And follow me on Instagram. The links will be in the description. And please subscribe and hit me up with a follow on Instagram as well if you guys are up for that. And I will catch you guys next time.